Vandeham Shri Guru Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsam.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome back to yet another interesting episode of Pariprashna. So today's episode is episode number 59. So as you're already aware, in the last two episodes, we have started discussing this wonderful pastime of Maharaj Dhruva, how a merely 5-year-old boy who was pierced by the harsh words of his stepmother Suruchi, he runs to his mother and guided by the instructions of his wonderful mother Suniti, he leaves to the forest immediately, and then on the way, he meets his glorious spiritual master Narad Muni, and upon his expert advice, just in a quick span of 6 months, Maharaj Dhruva performs this intense austerity, Ashtanga Yoga process, and he sees the Lord first in the heart and then face to face. And being empowered by the Lord, he offers these beautiful prayers, and the Lord reciprocates so fascinatingly well, and then he showers so many benedictions upon Dhruva. But however, Dhruva kind of regrets it. He repents that he probably should not have asked for all those material desires initially. But however, the process has purified him and he returns back. He is received very well, not only by his father Uttanapada and mother Suniti, but Suruchi and Uttam, they also have a change of heart. And once he's come back, his father Uttanapada coronates Dhruva as the king of the kingdom, and then Uttanapada immediately leaves to the forest in his quest for self realization. So that is where we had stopped last episode, and today's episode we intend to cover three amazing chapters. Chapter number 10 talks about Dhruva Maharaja fighting with the Yakshas. Then chapter 11, how his grandfather Swayambhuva Manu intervenes and he gives some wonderful advice to Dhruva. And then chapter 12, what a beautiful chapter. We are going to see Dhruva Maharaj leaving, going back home, back to Godhead. So we have a lot of ground to cover, 3 chapters. Now that's quite a lot. So without further ado, let's go ahead and inquire and learn from His Holiness Bhakti Padma Saurabh Pracharak Swami Maharaj. So Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat, Hare Krishna.
So Maharaj, last chapter, we saw that Uttanapada left to the forest. So usually one of the major responsibilities of the parents is to get their children married. So here Uttanapada, we see that he does not even wait to get Dhruva married. He just makes him the next king and he immediately leaves. So what is the urgency of self-realization?
It is the responsibility of the parents to get their daughter married.
Okay.
And the responsibility of getting a son married is that of the Purohita. Guru.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it's not necessary that the father has to get the son married and all.
Mm-hmm.
There's one point. And when it comes to self-realization, our Arthika Dharma should not be an obstruction to the Paramarthika Dharma. There are 2 dharmas, dharma of the body, dharma of the soul. If somebody is willing to accept dharma of the soul, bhakti, and dharma of the body, which is known as Arthika Dharma, material dharma, or Kaitaba Dharma, if it is an obstruction, that should be rejected.
Mm-hmm.
So, emergency is always there. The emergency of accepting Krishna consciousness is always there. The problem is not whether there is emergency or not. Emergency is always there. To realize that emergency, that is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
People have not realized that emergency. Mm-hmm. That is why Prahlad Maharaj, he actually, in his teachings to his classmates, his friends, he reminds the emergency. Kaumaragan acharet prajno dharman bhagavataniha durlabham manusham janma. Don't wait for next life. You don't know when next life is going to come.
Mm.
What kind of life you're going to have next life. And then it is adruvam. You may say, now why I should do now, I can do later. You may die now. You may die tomorrow. Who knows? That is why there is emergency. There is an urgency. At the same time, urgency is also there. Adruvam api arthadam. It is arthadam. You should be confident that you can attain the perfection of life in this very same life.
Mm.
So by using this word, adruvam, Prahlad Maharaj is talking about the emergency and desperation. At the same time, by using the word arthadam, he giving the confidence and patience. So that's how it is. It's a question of realization of the urgency, that's all.
Mm. Very nicely explained, Maharaj. So we'll get into chapter 10, Dhruva Maharaja's fight with the Yakshas. Maitreya uvacha prajapate duhitaram shishumarasya vai dhruvaha upaye me brahmim nama tatsutau kalpavatsarau. The great sage Maitreya said, My dear Vidura, thereafter Dhruva Maharaja married the daughter of Prajapati Shishumara, whose name was Brahmi, and two sons named Kalpa and Vatsara were born of her. So he has another wife, which is mentioned in the second verse. इलायामपि भार्यायां वायोः पुत्र्यां महाबलः पुत्रम् उत्कलनामानं योषिद्रत्नम् अजीजनत्. The greatly powerful Dhruva Maharaja had another wife named Ila, who was the daughter of the demigod Vayu. By her he begot a son named Utkala and a very beautiful daughter. So Maharaj, the fact that Dhruva Maharaj, even after having direct darshan of the Lord, such wonderful reciprocation, so he is getting into the householder life. He has two wives and wonderful children begotten from both of them. So can spiritual advancement coexist with householder life?
Whether you're a brahmachari or a sannyasi, brahmachari or a grahastha or vanaprastha or a sannyasi, they are all material designations. They are all designations of the body. And these designations have nothing to do with spirituality. Spirituality is independent of these designations. It's a wrong notion that if somebody is a sannyasi, that means he is more spiritually advanced, and somebody is a grahastha is not spiritually advanced. Or there is a wrong notion to think that grahastha ashrama, it is not favorable for spiritual life, whereas sannyasa ashrama is favorable for spiritual life. Because these ashramas, they are all ashramas. Brahmachari ashrama, grahastha ashrama, vanaprastha ashrama, and sannyasa ashrama. What is the one thing which is common? Ashrama. Anybody who is convenient in any ashrama, accept it and then be happy with it. So a brahmachari or a sannyasi is thinking, oh, I should have been married. And a married person thinks, I should have been a brahmachari or a sannyasi. That is a problem. Sthane sitam chudagatam tanuvang manovi. So for spiritual realization, it is independent of where you are and which ashrama you are. So ultimately what matters is one's sadhana and one's service to Krishna. If somebody is serving nicely in grahastha ashrama, fine. If somebody is serving in vanaprastha ashrama, it's fine. So there is these things are not an impediment. If the grahastha life is an impediment, why it should have been called a ashrama?
Mm.
So all the four are ashramas, provided you accept it as an ashrama. If you don't accept it as an ashrama, if you think it is you're not practicing spiritual life, it is not ashrama, it is only shrama. One can be in grahastha ashrama and one may be in brahmachari shrama.
Wonderful. So in the next verse, that is the third verse, Dhruva Maharaja's younger brother Uttama, who was still unmarried, once went on a hunting excursion and was killed by a powerful yaksha in the Himalaya mountains. Along with him, his mother Suruchi also followed the path of her son, that is, she died. So Maharaj, we've already touched upon this and the Lord already predicted this, so it's coming into manifestation now. And you've already explained the long-term repercussion of offending a devotee, even when Dhruva was not a devotee. So I don't want to get into this again. But however, what I want to focus in how Dhruva reacts to this Uttama getting killed. So that is given here in the fourth verse. ध्रुवो भ्रातृवदं श्रुत्वा कोपामर्षशुचार्पितः जैत्रं जैत्रं स्यन्दनमास्थाय गतः पुण्यजनालयम्. When Dhruva Maharaja heard of the killing of his brother Uttama by the Yakshas in the Himalaya mountains, being overwhelmed with lamentation and anger, he got on his chariot and went out for victory over the city of the Yakshas, Alakapuri. So, very short purport Prabhupada is writing here. I'll quickly read this. Dhruva Maharaja's becoming angry, overwhelmed with grief and envious of the enemies was not incompatible with his position as a great devotee. It is a misunderstanding that a devotee should not be angry, envious, or overwhelmed by lamentation. Dhruva Maharaja was the king, and when his brother was unceremoniously killed, it was his duty to take revenge against the Yakshas from the Himalayas. Maharaj, I was having a little hard time processing this purport, what Prabhupada is writing, especially when he says, when Prabhupada says that becoming angry is not incompatible with being a devotee. How do we digest this? Because we think Krishna has already said in Bhagavad Gita, there are three gateways to hell. That is lust, anger, and greed. And now Prabhupada is here saying, being angry is not incompatible with being a devotee. How do we reconcile the seeming contradiction?
See, these are all energies of Krishna.
What are energies?
Everything in this world is energy of Krishna. Anger is also energy of Krishna. So when that anger is directed in service of Krishna, so then that anger is not anger at all. It is using the energy in service of Krishna. Do you think Arjuna, when he was shooting arrows at the Kauravas, is very peaceful, taking the arrow, and then do you think an arrow can be shot without anger?
No.
So anger is energy of Krishna. It should be used in Krishna's service. When somebody says you should have control over anger, it doesn't mean you should not have anger. Like, for example, you should have control over the car. What does it mean? You kept the keys in the car in the locker and you're asleep, the car is not moving. Is in your garage. No. Control over the car means you are driving the car in a proper speed, following the rules and regulations of the traffic in a proper direction to reach the destination. That's called control over the car. The same way, control over anger means you have anger and you are using that anger for a particular purpose without causing destruction to others. So that's called control over anger. So some may be very peaceful, and like for example, a philosopher, Srila Prabhupada, is very angry when he hears the word, when he hears Mayavad philosophy. He becomes very angry, and then he refutes Mayavad philosophy. All the Vaishnavacharyas did that. So when mother sees the child is misbehaving, she becomes angry, start beating the child also. But at the same time, she knows how much to beat, how much to love. So that's anger is an energy. That is why our Acharya, Tundas Thakur, he says, Kama Krishna Karmarpane Krodha Krishna Krishna Bhakta Dveshi Jane. You engage your anger against those who are envious of Krishna and Krishna Bhaktas. So anger is not a problem when it is controlled. Rather, anything, even when you are very peaceful, if it is not, your peace is not controlled, then that's also a problem. So that is a modern understanding. War, when it is used for proper purpose, then that war is peace. When peace is not used properly, then that peace is war. Like you have a politician, I don't want to name him, he's called Mahatma. He always said ahimsa, ahimsa, ahimsa. But his ahimsa caused so much of himsa. Whereas Arjuna's himsa caused so much of peace. Isn't it? So people have a wrong understanding about these words, anger, how to control anger. The very fact control means that you have it and using it for a particular purpose.
Okay. So Maharaj, that was a very nice explanation. Let's take that another step forward. So you repeatedly used controlled anger, and anger being energy of Krishna, and it can be used, engaged in the service of Krishna. But however, specifically in this context, when Prabhupada is writing for Dhruva Maharaj's case, number one, this was not dharmic anger. It seems like it is anger out of attachment. My brother was killed, so I am going to take revenge on Yaksha. So it is not dharmic, it is out of attachment. And number two, you said controlled anger, but here it seems like Dhruva Maharaj's is not controlled anger, because one Yaksha killed his brother. He is out there wanting to destroy all the Yakshas. So it seems like uncontrolled anger. And number three, here Dhruva Maharaj's anger is not used for protection but for destruction. So in Arjuna's case, it was for protection of Dharma. In Hanuman's case, when he used anger to burn Lanka, there also it was protection, trying to get Mother Sita back. So here in this context, to say Dhruva's anger is not incompatible with him being a devotee, how justified is this?
Number one, Dhruva's brother was killed. Was it justified?
Yes.
No, Dhruva's brother was killed by Yakshas. Srila Prabhupada in the purport says it was unjust. So now Dhruva, he attacked the Yakshas. Did he attack whimsically? No. When he saw that there was injustice done to his brother, he fought. He fought against the injustice. It would have been with somebody else also. Then he would have done the same thing. So that is the first point.
But Maharaj, one second. Before you go further, sorry for interrupting. How is it unjust that Uttama was killed by Yaksha?
What, you read the purport of Prabhupada?
The same purport again?
Yes.
Okay. Dhruva Maharaja's becoming angry, overwhelmed with grief and envious of the enemies was not incompatible with his position as a great devotee. It is a misunderstanding that a devotee should not be angry, envious, or overwhelmed by lamentation. Dhruva Maharaja was the king, and when his brother was unceremoniously killed, it was his duty to take revenge against the Yakshas from the Himalayas. Yeah, I think
so. This answers your question, first question.
Yes.
Okay. So now the second question is attachment. Attachment was dharma. You see in the purport the same, it's there itself, dharma. His attachment was for dharma. So when it comes to killing, instead of killing one or two and coming back, why he killed so many people? Isn't it? It should be 1:1, something like that. So those laws don't apply in war and love. Those laws don't apply in war. That is dharma of the war. Dharma of the war is not. It doesn't work like that. Okay, that's what somebody told. Like, in that what Algan, some places there terrorists killed 26 people, but Modi killed 2,600 people. How is it so? It doesn't work like that. It's not 1:1. It's not statistics. It's because you're not avenging the death. That is attachment. You're teaching a lesson to the terrorists, to those people. So it's not very proportional. It is said that everything is fair in love and war. That's the rule. In love and war, everything is fair.
Okay.
Like for example, one person told me, "Oh, just see this devotee. He's spending 2 crore rupees in his daughter's marriage. And it is his money by his daughter. He in love. You may say, you may think it's unfair. Who are you to decide what is unfair? In love, there is nothing like that.
Mm.
He loves his daughter. He want to show that I love my daughter, and he's spending 2 crore rupees. What's your problem? You also are to spend. What is the problem? In the war also, same thing like that. Oh, why did you kill me? It's war. Why so many were killed? In war, this is what it is. This is the rule.
So along the same lines, then are we going to? Yeah, go ahead, Mara. You want to say something?
Okay, if that is the thing, there was only one Dhruva Maharaj. Why so many people come to kill him then?
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
along,
that's
yeah.
continue.
So Maharaj, along the same lines, are we going to justify Janamejaya's disproportionate anger? Okay, one snake Takshaka came and killed my father, so I want all serpents to be killed. Prachetas, oh, these trees are too much obstruction for us to do our tapasya, so we are going to burn down all the trees. So are we going to justify all such disproportionate anger?
Again, every situation is different. Every person is different. It is not common. It is Janmejaya is not a transcendental personality, and it is not the same as of Dhruva Maharaj. Janmejaya, and that is why people came and tried to stop him. And, of course, there's a greater plan of the Supreme Lord by this Janmejaya Yajna. Just imagine, all the Sarpa Yonis would have been existing on this planet, and how much Sarpas would have been there. There are some forests in Amazon and all, they're only snakes. No humans can inhabit. So there's a plan of the Lord that in the age of Kali, and all will be the different situations. So we require enough place for the people to exist. It's a universal plan of the Lord, which was accomplished through Janmejaya. Yeah.
Okay, so I see how ruthlessly defensive you are of Dhruva Maharaj's stand, him fighting against Yakshas. Okay. So Maharaj, before we get into the fight, which is very, very cinematic description, but before that, just both our audience and I, both of us understand properly, Yakshas, who are they? Because we hear these words, Kinnaras, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Charanas, Yakshas. So in this case, who are these Yakshas? And when it is said Dhruva Maharaj went to Alakapuri, Himalayan region, is that the same Himalayas that we see in the northern part of Bharata, or is it some other Himalaya? So if you can please explain that.
There are 4 lakh species of humans, and only few humans are on the visible plane, especially in the age of Kali Yuga. And other species, human species, they exist in higher planes, higher dimensions. So they are Yakshas, Kinnaras, Kinpurushas, Gandharvas, Vinayakas, like that. They are not totally demigods. At the same time, they are not humans like that. They are somewhat in between. So these Yakshas, they are a category within the 84 lakh species, especially within the 4 lakh human species. They have some higher powers, but they are not so so much situated in mode of goodness and passion. They are influenced by mode of ignorance. They are proud of their engineering knowledge. They are proud of their powers, and they create a lot of nuisance. When that's the reason Kuvera is the king. He's controlling them, keeping them under control. One good thing is that they all accept Kuvera as a king, and we surrender to Kuvera. Once Kuvera says something, they just keep quiet, like a bunch of naughty boys in the classroom, but they love one teacher. As soon as he comes and he's quiet, everybody becomes quiet. So they have that respect to the teacher. But once the teacher is off somewhere and they became again, they go nuts. So that kind of people, very strange kind of people, Yakshas. And when it comes to Himalayas, Himalayas are also existing in many dimensions. It is not what just you perceive. What Himalayas you perceive as Himalayas is only only maybe 10% of the entire Himalayas. Their Himalayas are existing in higher dimensions too. And this is also very well known by the aviation department of the world. If you want to fly from Delhi to Moscow, it is not very far, but the planes take a different route, long route. Why? Because there are certain areas in Himalayas you cannot cross over by a plane, you'll be lost. So, of course, it's all different subject matter, but to know that Himalayas, they are very mystical. Manas Sarovar itself is a very mystical thing. Because it's a connection to, there are certain parts of this world which are connection to higher dimensions. And if you see the original map of Manas Sarovar, it's not complete because they could not find out. They wanted to do survey and they went in a boat and they just could not reach the other part of the shore. They went on for days and days in the boat. They did not reach other side of the shore. When they stand on this side of the shore, they can see the other side of the shore, but they want to go and travel, and they cannot reach the other side of the shore. So it's all some mystical things are there. So it's mystical for you, but actually it is a science that there are higher dimensions. We exist and we're limited to the three-dimensional aspect of the world. That is length, breadth, and height. When you have one dimension, one line, two-dimension length and breadth, three-dimension length, breadth, and height, then you can have more dimensions too. 64 dimensions are there. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So, Maharaj, in the interest of time, we are not going to be able to really get into the whole episode of this fight between Dhruva and Yaksha, but it's very, very fascinating. So, how come, whether it is Maitreya Rishi explaining to Vidura, Shukadev Goswami explaining to Parikshit, Suta Goswami explaining to Shaunakadi Rishis, how in the world can they remember such fights also so vividly? Like, it is literally like watching a adventurous movie. Dhruva shot 3 arrows, they shot 6 arrows, and this happened, and that happened, and the sigh of relief, and then everybody is like, alas, this happened. Dhruva has set in the ocean of Yakshas. So, how such vivid memory of these acharyas that they are able to explain even a fight in such great detail?
So the question is why they remember the fight in such great detail? Because they don't remember, they see and describe. It is not that they are speaking something from their memory. It is they are seeing and then speaking. That is why Rishaya Mantra Drishtara, they see things and speak. It's a live telecast for them. For us, it is memory and forget thing and maybe mess up certain things and one for the other names. It doesn't work for them. That is why they are acharyas. That is why they are the speakers of Puranas. So they Goswami, Sutta Goswami, they are speakers of Puranas. And when it comes to fight, two things we should not forget, because even in the fight there is some philosophical points and also glorification of Dhruva Maharaj.
Yes.
So two interesting points is when the arrows were shot, Yaksha's arrows completely drowned Dhruva Maharaj in the arrows, like the sun setting in the ocean. The description is giving like that. Hatoyam manavaha suryo. So he has been killed. The grandson of Manu has been killed. He has sunk in the ocean of Yakshas. So the metaphor which is given is sun sinking in the ocean. That doesn't make any difference to the sun. So though Yakshas were so many number, and the sun is not harmed by setting in the ocean, the same way Dhruva Maharaj was done. And it is also described that rains, raining on the mountain. In this way, arrows were raining on Dhruva Maharaj. When there's rain on the mountain, what happens to the mountain? Nothing. Rather, it becomes purified, it becomes clean. So, even in these metaphors, they are not just exaggerations. They are just to bring out the point that how, in spite of all the Yakshas being overwhelming in number and their arrows are drowning Dhruva Maharaj, pouring like water on the rain in the mountain. Even these descriptions are indirectly meant to glorify Dhruva Maharaj.
Very nice, Maharaj. I was going to touch on those two analogies, and you yourself brought it out. And what about this noble fighting spirit? Although you said yakshas are primarily governed by the mode of ignorance, but even they have that Kshatriya spirit. They're lauding Dhruva Maharaj's valor.
Yes, that's called Kshatriya. Kshatriya is interested in his dharma of fight. Of course, they feel bad when they're defeated, but they feel very happy being defeated by a very great personality. When Arjuna shot arrows and when the soldiers on the side of Kauravas, when they used to die, they used to laugh in ecstasy, and then they would die. That, oh, I got an opportunity to fight with Arjuna. How great is Arjuna? Just see. And now I have the fortune of being killed in the hands of Arjuna, and they would die. That's that spirit, Kshatriya spirit. Like, for example, there is one very strong team, football team or any cricket team, and they're and a weak team gets an opportunity to fight or play with the strong team. The weak team becomes very happy. Yes, we'll show our strength. They know they are going to be defeated, and ultimately at the end, though they are defeated, they are praised for giving a good fight. So that's actually a great, great thing.
Yeah. Nicely put. So jumping to the last verse of this chapter, Maharaj, Munaya Uchuhu. So there is this illusion created by yakshas. There is this blood and pus and all kinds of abominable things. So they are coming and giving nice instruction to Dhruva Maharaj. All the sages said, "Dear Dhruva, O son of King Uttanapada, may the supreme personality of Godhead, known as Shangadhanva, who relieves the distresses of his devotees, kill all your threatening enemies. The holy name of the Lord is as powerful as the Lord himself. Therefore, simply by chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord, many men can be fully protected from fierce death without difficulty. Thus, a devotee is saved." So, what a nice instruction. They are saying, remember the holy name of the Lord. So, how remembering the holy name of the Lord can help Dhruva here to get him out of the ocean of illusion, and also the same holy name is the ultimate solution for us to get out of the ocean of this Bhavasagara also.
The Munis thought that if one can cross over the ocean of death, birth and death, just by hearing about the Lord, then Dhruva Maharaj should cross over the magic spell of the yakshas. So in this way, they made him remember Narayana Kavacha, Narayana weapon. So in this way, the Munis, they are trying to pacify Dhruva Maharaj. Because Dhruva Maharaj, hearing the Yakshas had cast some magic spell. Yeah. And Yaksha's magic spell is very difficult to overcome. And for the purpose of the affection which the sages had for Dhruva Maharaj, they felt, oh, Dhruva Maharaj will be affected with the magic spell. They had affection. Of course, nothing can happen to Dhruva Maharaj. So the affection for Dhruva Maharaj, these Munis, they are making Dhruva remind him of Narayana's name. And Narayana Bhau, which is Narayanam, Narayanam Nirmitam Astram, Narayana Astra. They reminded him, you see, now this is a magic spell, and you had to take shelter of Narayana now. Of course, Dhruva Maharaj would do it, but still the sages reminded him about it.
So, starting chapter 11 now, titled Swayambhuva Manu advises Dhruva Maharaja to stop fighting. Maitreya Uvacha Nishamya Gajatamevam Rishinam Dhanushi Dhruvaha Sandadestram Upasprushya Yannarayana Nirmitam Sri Maitreya said, "My dear Vidura, when Dhruva Maharaja heard the encouraging words of the great sages, he performed the Achamana by touching water and then took up his arrow made by Lord Narayana and fixed it upon his bow." So, Maharaj, you've already touched upon this, and Prabhupada never misses a chance to bring in about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the holy names and Sankirtana and all that. So, here in the purport, Prabhupada is writing, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also given us a nice weapon for this age, as stated in the Bhagavatam, Sangopangastra. In this age, the Narayanastra, or weapon to drive away Maya, is the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra in pursuance of the associates of Lord Chaitanya, such as Advaita Prabhu, Nityananda, Gadadhara, and Srivasa. So, if you can just highlight a little bit on Sango Pangastra in Kali Yuga, Maharaj.
Sa Anga Upanga Astra Parshadam. So these are the Sa Anga. Anga means he comes with his Anga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes with his Anga. Who is our Anga? Who is his Angas? Nityananda and Advaita Acharya. Upanga, Sarudamodar, etc. Sa Anga Upanga Astra. There are two astras which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought. One is his Kanti, his Sharira Kanti, the effulgence from his body. The beauty itself is astra, by which seeing which Prakashan Saraswati became clean bowled, and he was captivated by the beauty. He didn't have to do any other thing, just by his Kanti. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting and dancing, the effulgence coming from the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu itself made everybody into Vaishnavas. Then what to speak of the chanting. So this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or the names of the Krishna, they are the best astra to counteract the greatest weapon in this world. What is the greatest weapon which destroys us? That is Maya. The biggest weapon. And you want to destroy Maya, which is the biggest weapon. There is no other way in the age of Kali other than chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Wonderful, very nice. So we see that Dhruva Maharaj successfully uses Narayanastra, and now he's again in a favorable position. He is above Yakshas now. But however, his grandfather intervenes. So in text 7, we see Manur Uvacha Alam Vatsatiro Roshena Tamo Dwarena Papmana Yena Punya Jananetan Avadistvam Anagasaham. Lord Manu said, "My dear son, please stop. It is not good to become unnecessarily angry. It is the path to hellish life. Now you are going beyond the limit by killing yakshas who are actually not offenders." So very, very nice section, Maharaj. I was feeling very enlivened and inspired reading this section, the kind of advice and instructions Swayambhuva Manu gives Dhruva. But before we get into his advice itself, why is it so essential, even for exalted devotees, advanced devotees like Dhruva Maharaj also, to have a guiding authority above them?
Lord Krishna, he instructs to the entire world. He uses a great personality through which instructions can be given. Like Arjuna. Arjuna can never be into illusion. He is a Parshad of Krishna. But Krishna put Arjuna into illusion so that we can get Bhagavad Gita. Same applies practically everywhere. Dhruva Maharaj has been used by Krishna so that we get some instructions. And one point which, of course, got slipped from your mind, that is, when Dhruva Maharaj killed the Yakshas had some special promotion. They went to Brahmalok.
Okay.
They went to Brahma. If you see in the 5th verse, it is said that how Vrajanti Nirbhya Yam Urdhvaretasa. Those who are Urdhvaretasa, brahmacharis, when they give up the body, they go to the Arkamandala. Arkamandalam Vrajanti Nirbhidya Yam Urdhvaretasa. So where the Naishtika brahmacharis, when they leave the body, they go to sun planet. A great achievement. Because of being killed by Dhruva, who is such a great devotee, these yakshas, they attained such a great planet. So that is a special. Even though Dhruva Maharaj killed, actually he delivered, he he made yakshas go to such a planet which they cannot even imagine to even think of. So anyhow, your point is about instructions. These instructions, Krishna uses instruction. He used many people to instruct. He used Draupadi to instruct the entire world what is dharma. And for that, he had to speak something which is against dharma. When Krishna told Arjuna, kill him, kill his Ashwatthama. Why he was doing that? Because he wanted to glorify the superior position of Draupadi. So like that, Krishna uses many people to instruct. Every pastime is an instruction. So this also is an instruction that if Dhruva Maharaj would have not done this thing, we would have not got the instructions or the great teaching of Swayambhava Manu. You do things, but don't overdo. Isn't it? Yeah, you fight, but don't overdo. You fight principles of fighting, principles of getting anger. He are emulated by Swayambhava Manu.
So Maharaj, again, in the interest of time, this is such a wonderful section, but we don't have the luxury to really get into the details of it. Just an overview kind of a thing. So I was thinking he probably, not probably, he, in a gist, in a nutshell, he gives like 4 different advices. One is he's saying excessive anger is the path to hellish life, so please give it up. And then he is also saying the kind of action, the disproportionate anger that you're showing, it is not at all approved by the authorities. And then he says your action doesn't befit our dynasty. And for fault of one yaksha only, but you are killing so many yakshas, so he highlights that. And also he goes on to remind him, do you remember what kind of spiritual treasure you had? So you perform such austerity, you have Sakshat Darshana, and now for you to do this is not befitting at all. So overall, if you can enlighten us on the kind of instructions, the kind of advice given by Swayambhuva Manu to his grandson Dhruva.
It's a typical grandfather's advice.
Typical. I wish I had a grandfather like that.
Yeah. Manu is our grandfather. We can read Bhagavatam and get a grandfather, father, husband, child, brother, sister, everybody in Bhagavatam. No problem.
Yes.
If somebody doesn't have any relationship of a particular class, you open the Bhagavatam, you'll get. Anyway, you have grandfather Brahma, Manu, sister Devi, like that you can have no problem. So it's actually acceptance. You sometimes it's introduced. He's my Rakhi brother. What is Rakhi? No, he's a God brother, something like that. So you have everybody in Bhagavatam. You don't have to search anybody in this world. So these instructions, as you are very well classified, and the most important instruction is that it doesn't befit your family. Nanu sochitum harasi. Arjuna, it doesn't befit you. Na upapadyate. What is that verse? Second verse of the second chapter. Klaibyam masmara partha na cha etat upapadyate. Now, Shudram Hridayador Bhalyam Tektotishtaparam. Krishna tells Arjuna, yeah, you are Kaunteya, you are Kunti's son, and you are my cousin. And you are coming from 2 great Vamshas, from your father's line, your mother's line. It's not a joke. You belong to a great dynasty. And being born in a great family means you have great responsibility. So that's very important. If you are representing a particular family, particular organization, that means you have to behave accordingly. You are not independent. Your misbehavior will be translated as your family's misbehavior. So they will get the bad name because of your actions. So it's responsibility. Being born in a particular family, that means you inherit responsibility, not only just property. When you are representing an organization like ISKCON, that means you have the responsibility to maintain or increase the credibility of the organization.
Mm.
So you're not independent. So that's what is the most important point.
Yeah, very beautiful. So Maharaj, along the same lines, later a good like 10 verses or so, he goes on to talk about basically the law of karma and establishing how ultimately Lord is the cause. He's the ultimate cause. So this is a repeated theme, Maharaj. So in Canto 1, we saw Bhishma Pitamaha. When Krishna took all the Pandavas, he was also taking, why did you people suffer? He also goes on to this analysis of different things. He says kalam, time. And then Dharma, the bull, the personification of religion. Right there, the perpetrator is there, Kali, and he has a club in his hand. And Parikshit is telling you, just tell one word, you just point to him and I will take action. But however, Dharma refuses to do that. So Dharma also says different philosophers are giving different reasons why somebody suffers. And here also Swayambhuva Manu, in a good 10 verses, he is also talking about similar things. So if you can talk about this effect of karma, kala, and the proper way of understanding how Lord is the ultimate cause, although he is impartial.
This subject is like a current throughout all the scriptures.
Mhm.
Karma. Whatever experiences we have in our life, good, bad, ugly, any experience, these are all nothing but the reactions to our past good, bad, ugly actions. If we don't realize this, then we'll be deviated from our spiritual life. That is why this concept has been repeatedly described. Moment we are successful, then immediately we attribute the success to my capability. I can do that. I know I am. The moment we are having a failure, immediately say it is because of the other person.
Mm.
It is because of them I went into depression.
Mhm.
So this is the mind. This is how Maya attacks.
Mhm.
So whatever happens in our life, it is actually because of our karma. Once you are fixed upon this, then you will not be disturbed by the dualities. Dvandva moha vinirmukta. You become immediately placed beyond dvandva, that is happiness and distress, mana, apamanayo. And only on that platform one can practice undeviated devotion service. So this is how the scriptures remind this point again, again, and again in different ways by different speakers.
Okay, wonderful. So Maharaj, then towards the fact end, after giving all such advice, maybe there is this one thing that is the ego, false ego, where Dhruva may say, well, I find all this understandable, but how do I, overcome my ego in accepting what you're saying? So then finally, Swayambhuva Manu also talks about surrender to the Lord, and that's how you're going to overcome your false ego. So if you can also kindly talk about this.
Yes, this is where Swayambhu Manu, he tells Dhruva Maharaj. You see, avyaktasya prameyasya nana shakti udasyasya cha navai chikirshidam tata ko vedata swa sambhavam. He says, Tata, my dear child, no one knows the plan of Krishna.
Mm.
No one can know the plan of Krishna. And this Lord is a very mystical person. He is avyakta aprameyasya. He is beyond your senses. Hmm. Who can say who is right, who is wrong? Even God, only God knows. Hmm. So you may say, I am right. They may say they are right. You may say they are wrong. They may say you are wrong. It is actually very difficult to understand. In the entire prasanga, who is right? Dhruva Maharaj is right. Yakshas are right. How much they are right? How much they are wrong? very difficult. And our intelligence is so small. We cannot understand Lord's intelligence, Lord's plan. That is why he is avyakta. And aprameyasya, he is beyond all sense perception. And because of his Shakti, in the form of Kala, Karma, and Swabhava, many things happen in this world. But you should understand the Lord is behind everything. So every situation, we have to take the essence and be Krishna conscious. As much as Bhishma has told, the same point, that very difficult to understand the plan of Krishna. Nahi asya karachit rajan puman veda vidishtitam yad vijnasya yukta muhyanti kavayopi. Muhyanti kavayopi, even great sages, they are also completely bewildered. So don't try to argue much. Just accept everything as a plan of the Lord. Whatever has happened, then chant and be happy now. Now, if you say, why the Yakshas killed my brother? It happened. Maybe it's a plan of the Lord. Birth and death is not in our hands. No arguments. What has happened. Now be Krishna conscious. That's all. If you try to dwell on things, why it did like this, why it should happen like this, why there is no answer for it. Break your head. Go near a wall and break your head. Why? You will die. Just say, Daivecha, chant Hare Krishna.
Nice, very nice. So Maharaj, just earlier, a few minutes ago, we were talking about how it is so essential, no matter how advanced a devotee one is, it's always essential to have a guiding authority under whose guidance we can pursue. But at the same time, as sadhakas, how important it is. Like, for example, Dhruva here, okay, his grandfather came, he gave wonderful advice, but Dhruva's such humility, he accepts it immediately. He's nowhere defensive. He's not defending his actions. He's like, all right, you've told all these things, I'm surrendering, I'm stopping the fight. You want me to stop? I'm stopping. So we should also conduct ourselves in such a way that our authorities have the liberty to intervene and correct us. But if we are always going to be defensive and do our own thing in spite of them guiding us, then we are taking away that thing from them to actually intervene and correct us. So, what lessons can we learn in the way that Dhruva, out of his spiritual maturity and humility, he accepted the advice and he enacted it immediately? He stopped the fight.
Very interestingly, Swayambhu Manu says, go to Kuvera and then pay obeisance to him. He is an elderly person. You please Kuvera with kind words because he is an elderly person, he is a great personality. And if he becomes upset and anger on our family, it is not good. So you become humble. So Dhruva Maharaj, he just accepted it.
Yes.
That is the symptom of a devotee. He is not seeking justice. He is seeking blessings. See, justice is material, blessings is spiritual. If somebody wants justice in this world, yeah, he may get it, he may not get it. Even if he gets it, it's material. If he gets it, okay, it may give temporary satisfaction. If he doesn't get it, he gets frustrated. But if he gets blessings, and if he takes everything, whether justice or injustice, if he gets blessings of the elderly people, then that's the best thing. That is the greatest protection. There is no guarantee that when you get justice for one thing, you will not be inflicted by another kind of injustice. But if you get blessings, you will be protected permanently from all kind of injustice. So a devotee should not fight for justice. He should seek out blessings. So that is what is Dhruva Maharaj. He is very intelligent because he is a devotee.
Okay. And what about his non-defensive nature, Maharaj? That it's not like he's already said, no matter what you say, I'm still going to fight. That's not the attitude. It's like, okay, whatever you say, I follow.
Yeah, definitely. Whatever, Sarvameda Dhritam Manyan Mamansi Keshava, whatever you say, I accept it as
Mhm.
truth.
Mhm.
So this is the nature of a devotee.
Mhm.
That's what. Uh, don't go to court of law. You go and then compromise.
Mhm.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Wonderful, Maharaj. So transitioning into the next chapter now, chapter 12, Dhruva Maharaja goes back to Godhead. So the great sage Maitreya said, My dear Vidura, Dhruva Maharaja's anger subsided and he completely ceased killing yakshas. When Kuvera, the most blessed master of the treasury, learnt this news, he appeared before Dhruva. While being worshipped by yakshas, kinnaras, and charanas, he spoke to Dhruva Maharaja, who stood before him with folded hands. The master of the treasury, Kuvera, said, O sinless son of a Kshatriya, I am very glad to know that under the instruction of your grandfather, you have given up your enmity, although it is very difficult to avoid. I am very pleased with you. Actually, you have not killed the Yakshas, nor have they killed your brother, for the ultimate cause of generation and annihilation is the eternal time feature of the Supreme Lord. So, how mature on the part of Kubera that he is not blaming Dhruva, he is telling such wonderful things here. So, if you can say something about this, Maharaj, before we get into the kind of benediction Dhruva is going to ask from Kubera.
That's why Square, he has been placed as in charge of yakshas.
Mhm.
Actually, Kuvera is not yaksha. He is a king of yakshas.
Okay.
Like, for example, Lord Shiva is not a Bhuta. He is
Mhm.
a Bhutanath.
Mhm.
To control somebody in ignorance, you need to have somebody who is in goodness, that kind of goodness. Now, it's very easy to teach intelligent students studying the 12th standard, preparing for IIT,
Mhm.
because they have mission to accomplish. They're studious, they're seekers, they're intelligent. They don't cause any. They are not interested in any fights with children. They are focused.
Mm.
But if you want to teach even ABCD to nursery children, is it easy?
No.
Very difficult. The moment you just have your attention is towards the board and just turn back in few seconds, you'll have one child pulling the hair, the other child, one is pulling the shirt, crying, yelling, laughing, beating, all these things happens.
Yeah.
So just imagine you how much tolerance that teacher has to have
Mhm.
to manage these these kids. It's not easy. So
Yeah.
these are like that. These yakshas and bhut pretas are like that. These pishachas are like that. So you
Mm.
require somebody like Lord Shiva and
Mm.
yaksha
Good.
who is so matured who can tolerate in them and then keep them engaged in Krishna consciousness.
Mm. Mm. So now something really fascinating. Kubera says, please ask for a benediction. So now we see that Kubera is the god of treasury. It's like giving a blank check. Ask for anything you want. But now it's very interesting that Dhruva Maharaja has learnt his lesson, unlike what he had desired earlier. Now it is very beautiful what he asked for. So I'll just quote the shloka. 8th verse, chapter 12, canto 4. Maitreya uvacha sarajarajen varaya chodito ध्रुवो महाभागवतो महामतिः हरौ सवव्रे चलितां स्मृतिं यया तरत्ययत्नेन दुरत्ययं तमः. The great sage Maitreya continued, My dear Vidura, when thus asked to accept a benediction from Kuvera, the Yaksha Raja, king of the Yakshas, Dhruva Maharaja, that most elevated pure devotee, who was an intelligent and thoughtful king, begged that he might have unflinching faith in and remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for thus a person can cross over the ocean of nescience very easily, although it is very difficult for others to cross. So now he is exclusively asking, please give me remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahamatihi, very intelligent. So Maharaj, my question to here was, Kubera is a demigod, Dhruva Maharaja is a pure devotee. So course, just for the sake of argument, I'm saying in terms of hierarchy, Dhruva Maharaja is a devotee and Kubera is not. So how come he is asking, give me remembrance of the Lord? I would assume, I may be wrong in my assumption, but perhaps Dhruva is more remembering the Lord than Kubera. But however, for a pure devotee to ask from a demigod to give to give remembrance of the Lord, how do we understand this?
That's why Dhruva Maharaj is a pure devotee. Whomever he meets, he asks the same thing.
Huh.
So, because that is a desire of Dhruva Maharaj. And he can seek this desire from anyone. What is the problem? Like, for example, when a sannyasi goes to some temple, and the temple pujari is there, and then the sannyasi was asked the pujari, please bless me so that I can get the mercy of the Lord. The pujari there in the temple may be karmakandi, he may not be a Vaishnava also. He is just into doing some puja, very great service. But his consciousness may not be so elevated as the sannyasi. So, but the sannyasi, his consciousness is so elevated that he sees, he seeks in every opportunity to beg Krishna consciousness from anybody and everybody. Like when we go for yatra, sometimes the beggars come in the dham yatras. Then what do you say? Though you may be very limited, but you should ask the beggars, please beg from Krishna so that I can be Krishna conscious. So that is why it's called pure devotee. Pure devotee doesn't bother why I should seek blessings from that person and this person. He is beyond Dvandva. A greedy person would beg money from anyone. He has 1,000 crores, but when he sees somebody says, "Thoda paisa kama ke do na, kuch paisa bahut kami hai." So when you're greedy of Krishna consciousness, then that is what you do. You try to seek every opportunity to fulfill your greed. Like a businessman seeks every opportunity to fulfill his greed. Yesterday, one person came and told me, स्वामी जी कुछ देखिए ना कि हमारा शहर में कुछ अच्छा चीज हो जाए, आपकी संस्था की ओर से कुछ हो सकता है क्या?
क्या हो जाए? What happened?
हमारे शहर के लिए कुछ अच्छा हो जाए, आपकी संस्था से कुछ काम बनता है तो देखिए. Means he wanted ISKCON to give some money for some, and he himself is having 500 crores.
Okay.
And he's asking a sannyasi, a beggar. So he's greedy. He's a greedy person. So if you are greedy for Krishna consciousness, you try to attain it from anyone. You can ask even from a stone. Oh, you can ask even from a tree. That's what you learn things from. Tree, prostitute, anyone. Saragrahi. Vaishnava is Saragrahi.
So this is a practical demonstration, Maharaj. Even when we pray to demigods, of course, demigod worship is not encouraged, but when we do worship them or pray to them, this is what we should ask. Please give me Krishna Bhakti.
Yes. They are senior devotees. Demigods are senior devotees. Yes. You should ask from Indra. You should ask from Saraswati, Brahma, or Shiva, Surya. All these great personalities. They are not ordinary. And also, Kubera is having a position. He's not just another. He is Badri Panchayat. He is part of Badri Panchayat.
Badri Panchayat?
Yeah, in Badri you have Naranarayan Rishi.
Okay.
You have Badri Vishal, Naranarayan Rishi, Uddhava, Narada, and Kubera. All 5 deities are there. That's called Badri Panchayat. When you go to Badri, you can see all the deities.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, so jumping to 13th verse now. Dhruva Maharaja ruled over this planet for 36,000 years. He diminished the reactions of pious activities by enjoyment, and by practicing austerities, he diminished inauspicious reactions. So Dhruva Maharaj is a pure devotee. So we say in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in your own classes, I've heard you say, Kleshagni is gone as soon as we start practicing Bhakti, Shubhada, all that. So here Dhruva Maharaj, who is self-realized, God-realized, how come he is diminishing punya and papa through enjoyment and austerity?
Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Amar Jivan Sada Pape Rato Nahi Ko Punya Ralesh. So he Thus, he says that I have not done a single pious activity in my life.
Mhm.
And whole life I just led a sinful life. Is it right or wrong?
Inconceivable for me, right and wrong both.
It is wrong. How, where, what sin Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he doesn't even know the spelling of sin.
Mm.
But it is an expression of his humility,
Mm.
which because humility is the external manifestation of the love you have for Krishna.
Mhm.
These two are directly proportional. To the extent you have love for Krishna, to that extent you're humble.
Mm.
Now, Dhruva Maharaj's heart is filled with Krishna prema, so he's expressing his humility in this way.
Mhm.
By enjoyment, I'll reduce my punya, and by suffering, I'll reduce my papa, so that I can transcend this world. Whenever the enjoyment called, oh, good opportunity, my punya is
Mm.
getting reduced. Because when papa and punya become zero, then only you can come back to Godhead. So when enjoyment comes, I'm burning my punya. Very good, wonderful. Oh,
Mm.
when difficulties come, why my papas are going? Oh, very good, wonderful.
Mm.
Actually, Dhruva Maharaj had neither punya nor papa. He had sakshat darshan of Krishna.
Mm.
But he uh, thought like this. This
Mhm.
his thought process was
Mm.
his external manifestation of the humility,
Okay.
which is a symptom of the love which he has for Krishna.
Mm. Mm. Okay. Yes. So, Maharaj, going further, we see that after ruling for 36,000 years, he retires to Badrikashrama. So, I'm jumping to the 17th verse now. In Badrikashrama, Dhruva Maharaja's senses became completely purified because he bathed regularly in the crystal clear purified water. He fixed his sitting position and by yogic practice controlled the breathing process and the air of life. In this way, his senses were completely withdrawn. Then he concentrated his mind on the Archa Vigraha form of the Lord, which is the exact replica of the Lord, and thus meditating upon him, entered into complete trance. So, in the purport, the very first line Prabhupada is writing, here is a description of the Ashtanga Yoga system to which Dhruva Maharaja was already accustomed. So, in the interest of time, I'm not reading the whole purport. So, Dhruva Maharaja is a pure devotee. Okay, initially he followed Ashtanga Yoga. Narad Muni gave him that process in Madhuvana. But now, why still he is following Ashtanga Yoga? He is a pure devotee.
Because in Badri there are many yogis, and the standard etiquette was that if you are in the Grihastha ashram, you're supposed to do Karma Yoga, and if you are in the Vanaprastha ashrama, then you're supposed to do Ashtanga Yoga. So as a general form of etiquette,
Okay.
obligation,
Okay.
that's all. There's nothing to
Mhm.
do with it's only external. It's an
Okay.
etiquette which he followed there.
Okay. So, in the very next verse, when they're talking about all these ecstatic symptoms that he is experiencing, that is not necessarily from Ashtanga Yoga, but by the dint of his pure devotional service, then.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So now we see this very bright, illuminated spiritual plane comes. Nanda Sunanda, they are coming. So I'm fast forwarding now, coming to 28th verse. The great sage Maitreya continued, Maharaja Dhruva was very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he heard the sweet speeches of the Lord's chief associates in the Vaikuntha planet, he immediately took his sacred bath, dressed himself with suitable ornaments, and performed his daily spiritual duties. Thereafter, he offered his respectful obeisances to the great sages present there and accepted their blessings. I'll just read two more slokas here. Before getting aboard, Dhruva Maharaja worshipped the airplane, circumambulated it, and also offered obeisances to the associates of Vishnu. In the meantime, he became as brilliant and illuminating as molten gold. He was thus completely prepared to board the transcendental plane. When Dhruva Maharaja was attempting to get on the transcendental plane, he saw death personified approach him. Not caring for death, however, he took advantage of the opportunity to put his feet on the head of death, and thus he got up on the airplane, which was as big as a house. So, what a wonderful description of Dhruva Maharaj boarding this transcendental plane. So, Maharaj, how nice. that he is going back home, back to Godhead. He is not hasty. He still took a bath, he dressed himself, and he even performed his daily spiritual duties. It is telling like, I'll finish my 16 rounds and then come kind of a thing. And he is the one who is going, but however, he is still seeking the blessings of the sages who are still there. And him performing all this etiquette so nicely, worshipping the airplane, he's circumambulating it, offering his obeisances, and finally stepping on death personified. So, from your mouth, I want to hear a little description of this whole proper etiquette by Dhruva, even when he's going back to Godhead.
Etiquette is the essential principle of a Vaishnava, that is respect.
Mm.
I am able to board the airplane. Why? Because the mercy. It is not because of my own ability.
Mm.
So all these people, elderly people, the sages, and he is thinking of his mother also.
Yes, yeah.
They are the people responsible for me to get this fortune.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I forget them? So I do worship them. So the more a person becomes advanced, the more he respects people, the more he has regard to those people who are responsible, by whose mercy he attained this position. You should never forget.
Mm-hmm.
So that's etiquette,
Mm-hmm.
which the devotee naturally follows.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is this that comes naturally with advancement, or one has to consciously learn by seeing other senior devotees how they conduct themselves?
In sadhana, you have to forcibly do. As you advance, it becomes natural.
Okay. So Maharaj, just now you highlighted he also remembers his mother. I was going to touch upon that as well. How important is gratitude? Sometimes if we go a little further, we tend to forget what other people have done to us in bringing here.
Yeah, gratitude is the natural symptom of a very advanced person.
Mm-hmm.
One has to cultivate till you become advanced. Once you are advanced, then you naturally have gratitude.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Maharaj, we don't have the time, but however, just maybe slightly we'll touch on this. I'll just quickly read 34 and 35 translation. While Dhruva Maharaja was passing through space, he gradually saw all the planets of the solar system, and on the path, he saw all the demigods in their airplanes showering flowers upon him like rain. Dhruva Maharaja thus surpassed the 7 planetary systems of the great sages who are known as Saptarshi. Beyond that region, he achieved the transcendental situation of permanent life in the planet where Lord Vishnu lives. 2 questions related to this, Maharaj. One thing, maybe this is more a topic for Vedic cosmology when we go through it in the 5th canto. But however, based on what we were taught in school and college about this planetary system, solar planet, different planets, the galaxy, black hole, this and that, versus how Bhagavatam presents is definitely seems like distinctly different. And number two, in this whole section, it is described like as though Dhruva is going to Vaikuntha, spiritual planet, but he is going to Dhruvaloka, and Dhruvaloka is within the material realm, or is it in the spiritual world? Where exactly is he going?
It is like an embassy of the
Okay.
spiritual world and material world. It is in the material world, but it is untouched by matter.
Uh-huh. Okay. What about this Vedic cosmology aspect, Maharaj? It is distinctly different, isn't it? What we were taught in our educational institution versus what Bhagavatam presents here.
Why only Vedic Why only cosmology? Everything is totally different, because what we get is the source of knowledge is Veda.
Mm-hmm.
And the source of knowledge is the so-called education system, modern education system. The source is mental speculation.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely there will be distinction like day and night.
Mm-hmm.
That is why this material knowledge which is there in the modern education system, it goes on changing. The revisions goes on because
Yes.
the presentation is not from the Aporusha. Their source is not Aporusha. Their source is mental speculation.
Mm.
You speculate today something, tomorrow you speculate something else.
Yeah. 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 So Maharaj, towards the very end of this chapter, there is Falashruti given, and also how Narad Muni glorifies Dhruva Maharajas in the assembly of Prachetas. So if you can kindly wrap up with that, the significance of the Falashruti and Narad Muni's glorification of his disciple.
Arada always finds an opportunity to glorify his disciples. He glorified Prahlad Maharaj.
Mm-hmm.
Now he is glorifying Dhruva Maharaj.
Yes.
So Narada, he says, one should recite the story of famous Dhruva attentively in morning and evening in the company of the Brahmanas. Yes. So anybody who's those who desiring greatness, hearing about Dhruva Maharaj is a cause of greatness. So in this way, the Falashruti has been described. Maitreya talks about it. And ultimately, Narada, he also summarizes the entire thing by saying that idam maya te abhihitam gurudvaha dhruvasya vikhyata vishuddha karmana hitvarbhaka kredandikani matur griham cha vishnum sharanam yo jagava. So I have told you the story, the pure famous activities of Dhruva Maharaj, who as a child giving up playthings in the house of his mother, he took shelter of Vishnu. So that's the ultimate thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you, Maharaj. So Maharaj, moving on to the last segment, Brahmastra. So this is going to be called the devotee GPS. So just like when we are going from point A to point B, when we turn on the GPS, if we go off track, then the GPS lady or the guy, whoever is guiding us, they'll say recalculating and they'll put us back on track. So here we saw when devotee Dhruva was going a little off track, at least it seemed like Swayambhuva Manu acted like GPS and he put him back on track. So I'm going to give you about half a dozen, at least a dozen situations where I want you to be our GPS, like the Swayambhuva Manu and guiding us. So I'll give simpler, not like Dhruva killing Yakshas, nothing as grave as that. So if you can give your advice and put us back on track. So feeling proud about being humble.
Be feeling proud of being humble.
Yeah, I'm such a humble devotee.
Do some menial seva without
Right.
refusing.
Without what, Maharaj?
Without refusing to do so, without giving any excuses. That is a test.
Yes. Okay, next one. Someone who is very good in prachara, very good preacher, but coming short in achara. Sadhana is not so strong.
So ask him to be in a temple for a few days and attend the entire morning program.
Okay. So the next is somebody's prachara is good, achara is sadhana is also kind of okay. But however, they have a problem in dealing with different devotees, like seniors, how to deal with them, juniors, how to deal with them, equals, how to deal with them. They're always messing up in relationships.
You give them a project and ask them to accomplish. Ask him to build a temple. That is a test of your one's prachar.
Okay.
Then you have to beg.
Not even plead, beg.
Beg.
Yeah. Someone who is very gentle at the temple, they are like the embodiment of gentleness and humility at the temple, but at home, they are like a walking, talking pressure cooker, short tempered.
Have a house program, weekly house program in your place.
Such practical advices you're giving to bring us on track. Nice. Comparing one's spiritual progress with someone else's?
Yeah, you should feel encouraged, not compare.
Mm.
And for that, you have to serve
Yeah.
with whom you're comparing yourself with.
Oh, wow. Nice. Hearing someone else, you wanted to say something more, Maharaj?
No,
Hearing someone else getting praised and feeling a pinch of insecurity.
you also praise the person who is being praised.
Mm. Okay. Arguing in a meeting to prove your point.
Yeah, you go argue, prove your point, and execute it also.
So it's okay to argue?
Yeah, you argue. You argue that we all can distribute 50,000 books in this marathon and do it.
Mm. Mm. Okay.
Because then if that is a task given, then become very humble. No, let's all do together.
Yeah.
No argument. When responsibility comes on the head, everything becomes normal.
Mm. Mm.
Otherwise, be jumping up and down.
Yeah.
When you take the responsibility of accomplishing a particular task for Krishna,
Mm-hmm.
then you will become a Vaishnava. You'll become humble.
Yeah.
So you cannot accomplish without taking your enemies also together with you.
Mm.
When will you realize this thing?
Mm.
When you have a responsibility to accomplish,
Yeah.
when you have responsibility to build a temple, then somebody spits on your face also, you'll smile and say, "Oh, thank you very much.
Oh,
Can you get some funds for the temple?"
wow. Mm. Nice. Let's say we have planned, we means the person, devotee, has planned like 10 things on his to-do list to accomplish that day, but at the end of the day, only 2 has been accomplished, 8 haven't, so feeling frustrated.
Oh, you should be happy that two got accomplished by the mercy of Krishna. And other things were not accomplished because mercy is not there. Beg for the mercy of Krishna.
Beautiful, like that. You're asked to do a service that you don't like and you're feeling irritated.
Yeah, you can do the service in your own way.
Okay.
You don't have to be irritated about it.
Mm-hmm. Spiritual bossism, thinking that one knows everything, one is an expert, and everybody should work under them, nobody knows better than them.
Yeah, again, take responsibility. Keep the herd together.
Mm.
Ultimately, it comes down to taking responsibility.
Mm.
As Srila Prabhupada says, since you're the temple president now, you'll be forced to become Krishna conscious.
Yeah.
Most of the noises are done those who don't have responsibility. They jump
Agreed.
at them. Good idea. When you take them, why don't you take responsibility? I'm just giving advice.
Totally. Yeah. Totally.
I can just give this much time only.
Ah.
I don't have much time. So I become really renounced, like a sannyasi, crazy.
Yeah.
Take responsibility in the project,
Mm.
serving Krishna.
Mm. Nice. Opening YouTube to listen to just one kirtan and ending up watching unrelated videos for the next 45 minutes.
Yeah, you make your own podcast.
You are acing this, Maharaj. You are like, years of experience in acting like the GPS. You're like just nailing them. So, another one. You're invited to someone's house. Let's say it's a devotee's house. And what you notice is there is dust on their television, there's dust on their dining table. but you're not realizing that there is more dust in your own heart because of which you are seeing the dust in their house, being judgmental.
Yeah, if you find some dust anywhere, you start cleaning it.
In their house. So your heart also gets cleansed by that. Oh, amazing. So Maharaj, finally, what practical thing can we take? What practical steps can we take to get this kind of spiritual GPS in our life, moment to moment, under somebody's direction, that we can progress nicely?
Just study the Bhagavatam and Krishna will reveal everything. Like GPS, you just have to on it. And then there's divine instructions coming. So when you say you on the Bhagavatam, and Krishna is our real GPS, he reveals things.
Yes. Yeah, we can rename GPS as Guru Parampara system instead of geographical positioning system.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj. Wonderful. Fantastic. So, Maharaj, not only in this Brahmastra, but week after week for the past 58, 59 episodes, and hopefully continuing for the rest of it, you are acting as our spiritual GPS, and you are like this treasure house of knowledge. And today, for me, the takeaway was how you have the knack of getting into the details. Just that same purport I read, you made me read one more time, and it became a lot more clearer. So just getting into the details and not taking something for face value. So that's a really key takeaway lesson for me, along with so many other lessons. So thank you so much, Maharaj, for helping us really, really relish these pastimes. So we just kind of wrapped up Dhruva Maharaja's pastime. I really can't wait to get into Prithu Maharaja's pastime. Thank you, Maharaj. Eternally grateful to you. So there we go, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So in this fourth canto, so first we saw the performer in the mode of ignorance, that was Daksha Prajapati. And then now we discussed about Dhruva Maharaja, who was a performer of bhakti in the mode of passion. And gear up, fasten your seatbelts. Next week when we come, we are going to quickly take a look at the descendants of Dhruva Maharaj, a little bit about King Vena, and then we are going to dive deep into the performer who is in the mode of goodness, who is going to perform bhakti, and that is the great Prithu Maharaj. So I am really excited. I hope you are too. So we will see you in the 60th episode next Saturday. Until then, take care. And as always, stay inquisitive and stay Krishna conscious. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.